This is the Big O Show. 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 This.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, Get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome aboard, folks. Time to rock and roll and have some fun on a Friday. You made it, man, right? You made it. It's a beautiful thing. It's so beautiful that, you've got even a Friday where there's less panic. We've got media members and talking heads scrambling all over the place, trying to backtrack from some really bad hot takes on, cap crisis and stuff like that, stuff that really was never going to happen because we kind of told you about. So, kind of fun stuff that we've got going on here at Craig's Inns, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Yes, sir. End of the month. We're right towards the end of the month here, so we come on out here and make some great deals. Number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Sean Stanley is by my side. How you feeling, Sean? You feeling good?
I am doing good.
Feeling good? All right. I like to see that. Saw Manny Navarro was making his broadcast debut yesterday. That was actually pretty cool, doing a little FIU. Did you see that? Let's see. Where are we at here? The Dolphins have informed Xavier Howard he'll be cut at the start of the new league year. Yeah. Hey, 2 years behind. That's Omar Kelly reporting 2 years behind us. 2 years ago. Okay. You're my witness. And a lot of you, the hardcore. 2 years ago, we told you they will cut Byron Jones next year and they will cut X the following year. Okay, I'm really boring on this show.
I'm not going to tell you about cap drama. Why? Because there is no cap drama. As I told you, there wouldn't be any cap drama. And so I'm glad that everybody else is now catching up that X is going to be cut this offseason. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. You're 2 years behind us. And seriously, you can, any of the hardcores that are there, Ragin knows. He's been around 2 years. Gus 1388 knows. He's been around 2 years. One-Eyed Jack's one of the newer ones. Chad's been around even longer. I know that. So some of you out there that have been around, you know what I'm talking about. Jay Gelfin's been long. He's been around for maybe almost 2 decades now, right? Something like that, Jay. Anyway, so yes, we told you 2 years ago that Xavier Howard would be cut this offseason. Anyway, so a lot of things to talk about. We got a lot of, on a day that it's an off season, there's a lot of Dolphin stuff to talk about too that I ran into. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Welcome aboard to the program. Manny Navarro, by the way, will join us at the top of the hour. Once again, I apologize for the late start. As you all know, I'm recovering from my foot surgery that I had Achilles and a bone spur surgery that was stabbing one of my tendons that controls one of my toes. And so we had to get rid of all that stuff. And so now I'm in a boot for about 6 weeks. Monday, by the way, they take off the stitches, bitches. Yeah, I love it. So we get the stitches off on Monday. We'll get a little progress report. There's a chance that I might be able to drive after week 4, maybe week 5 or 6, if my foot has made progress. I can tell you this. I can feel like I can put a little more pressure on my foot. So it already feels like I'm making a lot of progress. So because of that, my incredible and phenomenal wife has to literally finish work and then get in the car and bring me to a broadcast. So this is why we're later than normal. Today would have been a 10 a.m. broadcast, but we have to do the afternoon. So there'll be a couple of them. We got a Caneswear broadcast coming up. It'll be also in the afternoon around 3:30, same time. All right. So starts at 3:30. YouTube is wrong. No, it's not. YouTube's not wrong. It says there, positive news for Miami Dolphins, where Mike McDaniel can learn something. Friday show, 3:30 p.m., 2/23/24. That's what the headline says. Okay? So, I don't know, Dan. I don't know if you can't read. Maybe you have a problem reading with the headline of the entire show. That's a good way to find out when the show is starting on the headline. It says at what time it's starting that day. I don't know if you guys know that. But when you click, if you actually take the time to read the headline, it tells you everything. Isn't that a wild concept, Sean? Just by reading, you get educated. The more you know, isn't that the way the commercial goes with the little star in the rainbow? The more you know. It's amazing. You just read, just look at the headline. Positive news for Miami Dolphins, where Mike McDaniel can learn something. Friday show, 3:30 p.m., 2/23/24. I think all the information is right there. You read that and it's got to tell you right away. I think the show starts at 3:30. Anyway, BX is number 1. Is that how it registers there on the real one that you got there? BX. I've never even seen this one. This is you're like a newbie and you're the number 1. That's special, BX. $30 million cap increase for 24-25 season, 255. Wow, it's a beautiful thing. We'll talk about that. Jay Hurd is in. Thank you for all you do and continued passion for the Fins and Miami sports in general. God bless you and yours. Thank you, Jay. Much love to you, sir.
Dude 67 in the house. Brooklyn Rob. Friday, buy the dip. Oh, we got to talk. I've been doing something wrong, and I've given away several $100s doing it, and some of you are doing the same thing, and we need to get smart here, folks. We need to save money, and I'm out to save you money, okay? If you don't have a Cash App account, get the Cash App account, okay? Why do I tell you this? It's the best way to buy Bitcoin. I said it. All right, so wherever you buy Bitcoin, you're going to have a gas fee for buying it, right? 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever it is, right? No matter what website, crypto.com, Binance, you name it, wherever you buy it, BitGet, whatever, you're going to pay something, right? And then eventually you're going to transfer how much Bitcoin you collect to your wallet, right? To your cold storage wallet, correct? And you're going to pay a gas fee for that transfer. Sometimes it's $16. It could be up to like $25, $30 now. So don't buy any more your Bitcoin on crypto.com and on BitGet and on Binance and Kraken or whatever site you may use, okay? Because you're going to buy it there and you're going to pay a fee like everybody else does. That's normal, okay? And then you're going to pay the transfer fee. On Cash App, and thanks to somebody out there, I forgot which one of you, told me exactly that you can do it. You can't transfer your Bitcoin there to your cold storage wallet, but you have three options. You have an immediate option that you pay a certain price. You have a secondary option. You pay a nominal price. And then you have a third option that is free. So you save yourself that fee. Could be $10, $12, could be $30. The last time I moved a bunch of Bitcoin from crypto.com to my cold storage wallet, I paid around $26, $30 or something like that. I've done that several times over the years. So I've given away several $100s. And so for those of you doing, and it's super easy to buy Bitcoin on Cash App. Takes 2 steps, boom, 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 you buy it. And then when you want to send it, you get your address from your cold storage wallet, you copy and paste it and put it there and then send it. As long as you have, once you get to 0.0001 of a Bitcoin and over, you can send. And you pick the third choice for free. And it never even takes 24 hours. I've seen it take 10 minutes. I've seen it take 25 minutes. I've seen it take an hour. So really, the way Cash App does it, it's the most convenient way to buy Bitcoin. And you know what I did? I did a recurring thing too. So I set it to buy a couple bucks every week, $25, boom. And you can have it recurring and just never have to worry about it. And then when it collects a certain amount, just move it over to your cold storage wallet. And you get it off. Remember, you always get your crypto off exchanges. So now that I'm saving you a little money doing that, easiest way to do it, man. Let's see. John Padilla, wake up, everyone. There you go. Jay Gelfin, Shabbat Shalom, Orlando. Sean and chat crew. Let's hope for a peaceful weekend and a bunch of Miami wins. Amen to that. Sneak Attack says, ending the weekend right with my brothers, Big O and Sean. Everyone, don't panic. Buy the dips also. But more importantly, smash the like button. Thank you, sir. Adolfo Foliaco. I was the second. Please check the like button. There you go. Dan is in the house. Ray Sosa, Miami 305, Stetson O, Tony Masker, Lord Warden, Jamie Zoria out in San Jose. Actually, he's in San Luis Obispo, California. I hope everyone's having a great week. Orlando, I hope you're doing better. Remember to smash the like button. Thank you. Thank you. Steven Gonzalez. Captain Saki is out there. Ron on the all-night telethon. Brian Landis, Cosa Nostra. Angelo De Jesus. Thank you, sir. Daniel Barry. Gus 1388, Joseph, Jason G. Of course, everything you've been saying is coming to fruition as it begins with Ogba. Told you he'd be gone too, yeah. Ray Varnicus, but that one's easy. Telling you that X will be cut 2 years from now. I mean, the only thing that tops that is that Brian Flores is getting fired in the middle of a winning streak. But, we have our days here on the show. Andrew Weitzel, welcome aboard, my friend. Brian Landis, I could live in your backyard. Of course you can. All you have to do is call Cutter's Edge Pro, and they will make a backyard you can live in. Marcellus Temple, thank you for the love. The Ragin is in. One-Eyed Jack, Popeye, Eddie Elvire, Marcellus Tempo. Nothing wrong when gloating when you're right. Yeah, but remember, you got to be humble and also, admit when you're wrong. That's the key. The key is being humble and make sure you admit you're wrong too. And I have zero issues with that. I'm the first guy to tell you when I'm wrong on something. So that's the beauty. Chad is in the house. Thank you, Chad. Howdy. It's hilarious how the media pundits panic about the cap drama. Told you there was no reason to panic. Pucci says, I argue with keep X, and he was right. I was wrong, but still would have kept him. Pucci, I think they would keep him. Okay, wait a minute. Let me get to the bottom of the list. I think they would keep him. What's the theme that I'm looking for? Come on. It's 3 words. Let's see how loyal. Let's see how much you pay attention. They would keep X. They would. 3 words that we have some fun with. Anybody got it for me? I'll give you 2 clues. Cook and Taylor. Cook and Taylor. It's 3 words. What is it? 3 words. There we go. One-Eyed Jack. I effing love you, bro. Dude 67 coming in. Low hanging fruit. Come on, man. We're talking about the 2-year GM that sneaks in that second year to control your ass. We're talking about Chris Greer. Low-hanging fruit. So if X wants to go out there and think he's going to go get market value and all that, what does Chris Greer say? You've earned that right to be a free agent, right? When he tells you that, it's like, hey, man, we got you. We understand you've earned that right. It's a really nice way of saying, go test the market, dude. So, yeah, they would bring X back. But it's those 3 magical words. If it ain't those 3 magical words, X is not coming back to the Miami Dolphins. So those images he had of playing with his friend Jalen Ramsey and having the best combo and all that stuff, not going to happen. Not going to happen for him, unfortunately. So as long as he wants that low-hanging fruit, then yeah, we'll do that. That's him right there. Big O, I hope that McD is able to learn. So far, he hasn't shown he can learn in many areas, says Brett Dodger. I agree. We got something on that, too, today we're going to talk about. Again, there was some stuff. Alexa says, really, I have Cash App. Yeah, dude, best way to buy Bitcoin. I'm an idiot. I should have figured that shit out a while ago. I would have saved myself. I would have had a little more Bitcoin. The couple of $100 that I've spent in shipping stuff over to my cold storage wallet, I could have saved all that money and bought Bitcoin with that. It has a third option that's free. It says from 0 to 24 hours, 0 minutes to 20, because it doesn't know how long it'll take. It depends on the traffic on the blockchain. So it doesn't put a priority on it, but it goes through quickly. So really is cool. Andrew says, anyone who listened to your show yesterday should know the show was going to be at 3:30. Yeah, but not everybody listens every day, Andrew. Some people are hardcore, and I love you all. Sean and I have incredible appreciation for you all that truly listen and watch the shows, not just, I appreciate those of you that watch just a segment or an interview or whatever, and that's what you want to do. But I know a lot of you that watch the show because inside the show is going to be information. It's not all going to be inside one rant or inside an interview. That's what people don't understand a lot of times, So there you go. Some of these YouTube Dolphin creators are coming up with some crazy. It's the off season. That's all. And they see, I can go talk about the Heat, and then I could go talk about Inter Miami, and then I can talk crypto, and I could talk music, and I could talk about all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? And that's the difference on this show. But when you're stuck and you only talk one sport, and now you're in the off season, now you got to come up with all kinds of shit that makes no sense, like that stupid Waddle talk. And the fact that the media entertains it, it tells you how desperate they are for content. So I know it's boring, but I don't do those kind of things. I'm not going to try to draw up sensationalism about the cap when I know what's going on. I'm going to tell you, they'll be fine this year. That's not a concern. It gets a little harder next year, and then impossible in 2026. And by the way, have I not been saying that since last year? Right? For over a year, I've been saying that this year would not. Last year, I told all of you, okay? Last year, I told all of you that this offseason would not be a cap problem, that the next year would get a little challenging, and then in 26 is when Tua's contract will fully kick in. It'll be a pain in the ass. You'll be able to get rid of Armstead 2 years from now. You'll be able to dump a couple of things, but the Waddle contract, all kinds of stuff is going to kick in. Your safety, Hunt. Like Hunt, you'll have a low number this year. It'll pick up next year. That'll make it more difficult next year. Things will get a little harder next year. Don't let the media. They have to do this, bro. They have to do this. They have to take it step by step and play the sensationalism game and play maybe this will happen. And then you play both sides of it. Well, it'll happen, but maybe if not. And then they try to cover their ass. Not me. I just walk out on the plank. I'm either right or wrong. I don't play both sides. I just tell you, hey, they'll cut X in 2 years. They'll cut Byron Jones next year. I'll just tell you that. And I'll tell you last year that this offseason is not going to be a cap issue. I'll just tell you that. And that's it. Just leave it at that. And it's boring. Instead of me trying to create shows the last couple of weeks of, oh my God, are they going to be able to get under the cap? Are they going to be able to get like they got to write articles like that. Like they got to do talk shows that way. I'm not doing that, bro. Just not doing that. I don't need to. Don't care. I'll move on and talk about Inter. And then I'll talk about the Miami Heat. And I'll talk about the Panthers. And, that's it. That's what we'll do. We'll just move on and stay realistic in the whole thing instead of just trying to chase, clicks. So we're not going to be the ones that are going to get 100,000 clicks because we're not playing the sensationalistic games. Yes, sir.
So a little bit about the Howard against the cap and everything is
okay.
With the designation, they're going to save $18.5 million in the cap space, according to overthecap.com.
Mm-hmm.
They will be responsible for $7.4 million of dead space based on prorated bonus money. Without the post June 1 designation, they would have saved only $2.8 million against the cap and $23 million in dead money. And the only drawback to the post June 1st designation, they won't be able to use the cap space they created until June 1st. Yeah, which I think we've discussed.
We talked about
this. That as well.
It's not a big deal. Whatever. And they'll have cap space. It's not an issue. That means they can put off some of the negotiations with certain people. So they could actually tag Hunt and then buy themselves time till June
and then renegotiate that and then take the tag off. That's the only way I can see a tag being used on Hunt or something like that, not on Wilkins. I don't believe that. Jeremy, Big O, imagine if your wife had to bring you to the radio station during your 640 and 560 days with your surgery today, since nobody works at 640 these days. She would have done it. My wife's a rock, dude. You know, she would have done it. We're old school, man. We do whatever we have to do. You know, that's kind of the way he and I are cut, you know. It's different. Trust me, we've had to work with people that we were like, he and I, the 12-10 and the onside experience had its moments when we would look at each other like, yeah, we're not really working with some people that have our same values. Let's just put it that way at times. Yeah. I got a hangnail. I got to take a day off. What? There, you know, I never knew about. I just realized this. At times at 12-10 and onside, you and I actually experienced load management in broadcasting. There were people that are just too tired to come into work, or they had a cold for a day or something. Yeah, it was funny. Hilarious. Although the cold stuff I don't mind, because then you spread it out to everybody else. Actually, that's a good one. Shane Yoakum, thank you, sir. Great show. Best coverage out there for Dolphins. Thanks. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you, sir. Zag says Dolphins cut X and Agba. Sportstradamus strikes again. Damn right. The Sportstradamus. The Sportstradamus is always here for all of you out there. Always.
The Sportstradamus has spoken.
Ken Rosa, Luis Beltran, Jets gang. Let's see. Share Bear, JR. I'd like to know what's your expectations for the Fins next year are. JR, we got to finish the offseason, my friend. We got to get first through free agency. Then we've got to get through the draft. And then when we're done filling all the holes, then my expectations, your ass better get in the playoffs and start winning some playoff games. That's the basic expectation I got to give you. Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, Reggie McKenzie, Mike McDaniel. Okay? Cut the shit. Let's go. Tua, Phillips, Chubb, everybody. I know we're going to get Phillips and Chubb later on in the season, but whatever. Anybody and everybody. Let's go. Let's start winning playoff games, Tyreek. Hang on to the damn football. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start winning some playoff games. That's what I'm expecting. But in reality, my brother, I got to wait to see what happens in the offseason. I'm not going to make, again, doing a mock draft now is a waste of time when you haven't done free agency yet. Talking about expectations is a waste of time until we've gone through free agency and the draft. And then we'll know what we have and the potential. And then we see what everybody else has done too. You know, all those other things. We have to let's get the facts in. Okay? All right? Let's not go charging somebody when we have a Russian operative giving us misinformation. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Let's see. The cap over analysis started with Omar. He said for 100 years there was, a cap. Yeah, our boy Omar likes he says the cap doesn't exist and then it does exist. Yeah, no, that's been well stated. That's how you learn from your mistakes, by admitting your faults. Yeah, but they don't do that nowadays. Jamie Lobo, team-friendly deal. On this show, we call it low-hanging fruit. Stetson O, DL. It's a beautiful day at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, baby. You are correct, sir. It is a mighty beautiful day. And we're headed down the end of the month, which means lots of deals. So make sure you get your butts down here. and take advantage? Xavier Howard's never going to take any pay cut. Yeah, you're right about it. Yeah. They would have kept X if he was willing to work with the team, but he isn't willing to restructure or take less money. The Dolphins have done right by X. They did more than right by X, my brother. More than right by him. Do you see any similarities between Darryl Gardner and Raekwon Davis? Big, not even close. I've never seen Raekwon Davis have as many explosive plays as Darryl Gardner did in a 2-year stretch throughout his entire career here so far. He has been a monster disappointment in the second round. There's no way in the front office they can be happy about that pick. And I don't know if it was theirs, if it was Flo or something. I'm not exactly sure on that one, but it doesn't matter. It goes on them. They've hit on a ton of other people, so it doesn't matter. But Raekwon is a guy that is an underachiever, considering his God-given ability. By the way, the new Integra 2024, folks, $329 a month right now. They got the customer appreciation sales event going on. The 2023 TLX, $399. The 2024 RDX, $459 a month, folks. Get on down here. They are the number one volume sales dealership in the United States. I mean, we've been doing it here for 14 years, and we used to say number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. They were always in the top 5, top 4, top 3. And Larry Schlossberg, since he's taken over, they have slowly climbed from 4 to 3 to 2, and now number 1 in the country. So when you're going to buy an Acura, you're going to get an incredible selection, new and certified pre-owned, and you're going to get the car you want, the color you want, the style you want, the model you want, but more importantly, the price you want. So come on down here, folks, and take advantage at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. Stop with the Indian burial grounds. The Marlins have won 2 championships there. Dolphins haven't gotten it done because they're not good enough, just like the Canes. Has nothing to do with it. Now, if you want to say that the curse of the Orange Bowl is following them, all right, you want to have some fun with that one? Okay. You're going to have to call Scooby and the gang to try to solve that mystery then. Brett Campbell says, X lost a step. That knee is getting worse and worse. I'm good on bringing him back. Have to force the development of these young bucks. I have no problem parting ways with him already at this time. You guys know I would have gotten off the bandwagon a couple of years ago, and I was right then. When he got the 10 interceptions, he's had 7 since then for the last 3 years. So, you got to move on. It's time. You should have traded him a few years back when you had an opportunity to get an awesome load for him at that moment. What's that? Yeah, Neil Driscoll, I trust. Yes, he's a good dude. Why? What does he say?
He sent out a thing with numbers, and again,
Neil does his homework.
I'm not good with numbers, so I'm just going to go with what he has here.
No, Neil has a brain.
Dolphins start these offseason at $38.5 million over the cap.
Right.
With new contracts, QB to it, he put $12 million total savings, $12.4 million. Okay. Restructures. Jalen Ramsey, $18.2 million. Bradley Chubb's $14 million. Tyreek Hill's $12.4 million. Defensive tackle Zach Sealer's $4.8 million. That'll give them a savings of $49.4 million. Release Agba, Baker, Mike White, Jeff Wilson, Keon Crossing. That'll free up $32.9 million. Post-June release, cornerback Xavier Howard gives them $18.5. $94.3 million in cap space created, minus $39.5 million, which is the current cap space, equals $54.8 million in cap space before an additional $18.5 million. Miami could have $73.3 million total in cap room.
Yeah.
Capocalypse? It was coming. It's going to crush us.
It's ridiculous, bro. And good job, Neil. Great job, dude.
The only number that throws me off was the Tua number. I just don't understand that.
Because when they rework the deal, they lower his number from 20-something.
Whatever to the 12 is what there's. Okay.
So they'll save that number.
Yeah, I know he's a lot smarter than me. I just didn't understand where the 12 came from and the 12.4.
22. So let's say it's a $10 million cap number instead of 22.
Okay.
And there's your 12. That's all. That's what he's saying. And I understand all of that. So that's why I told you guys a year ago that there wouldn't be a cap issue this year at all. And I've stayed with that the whole way through and all that. Because, again, I don't need to play the drama game. So it doesn't really register on this show. We'll give you something dramatic. 2 years ago, we'll tell you, hey, they're going to cut Byron Jones next year, and then they'll cut X 2 years from now. That's dramatic. Dramatic is when X has 10 interceptions, and then I tell you, now's the time to trade X. That's dramatic. But it makes sense, right? Because he's only had 7 interceptions the 3 seasons following that. So it kind of made sense then, right? When I said trade X, right? That's when I do the drama. You know, the whole cap crisis and all that for this year, that's not drama. That's sensationalism. You know, when we tell you that Brian Flores is going to get cut in the middle of the winning streak, there's your drama. You know, shocker, it happened. So, you know, it's whatever, but that's the way we're going to roll on the show. We'll stay that way. It's been pretty good for us, by the way, especially when it comes to the Dolphins. That's for sure. All right, let's do it. Hour number 2. Well, technically it's not. It's really, we started at 3:30. So Manny Navarro is ready to go with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your InterMiamiCF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Before I get to Manny, Isais, thank you, my friend. Remember, you can support the show by making a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And you know my favorite donations are what? Bitcoin donations. Isais, thank you for sending us a little Bitcoin. We love that. See, that's the donation that keeps giving perpetually because it's just going to go up and up and up and up and up. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Isais. Manny, how you doing, my friend? You got any Bitcoin yet?
I have not, brother. I've been too busy coaching soccer and playing pickleball, man. I gotta turn my focus to the right place, I guess.
You didn't get it at 16? You didn't get it at 25? You didn't get it at 30? You didn't get it at 45? Come on. When are you going to get on board?
I got to move. On this stuff, man.
All right. Well, they got their Bitcoin DB coach, I guess, at the U. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I finally announced the hiring of Chevis Jackson, who I think was the favorite all along. Just a matter of Mario going through the process and talking to people and doing what he likes to do, which is interview people. He enjoys that for some reason. And
he's a people person, man.
He's a people person. Chevis, obviously coached with Lance Guidry at Marshall 2 years ago and played at LSU. Was coached at a couple of other places, including Kansas. But right now, he's going to be a Hurricane DB coach, cornerbacks coach in particular, because Guidry coaches the safeties. So we'll see what happens, but big position, cornerback this coming season. Not a lot of experience there for Miami. He's got a lot of young guys. We'll see how good of a cornerbacks coach he really is.
Somebody was asking me now to assess what I'm expecting from the Dolphins in the 2024 season, and I'm like, well, we haven't gone through the draft and free agency. First, let's get through free agency. What you lose, what you add.
Yeah.
It's to a draft, and then I can assess it. What can you assess at this point for the University of Miami? Because I have a hard here's where I have a hard time setting expectations now for Mario, because I know you recruited a bunch of players. I know your talent was better last year than it was the year before, but yet when I watch your coaching and I watch the results, I wasn't impressed. So now I have to kind of grade you on a curve because I'm not impressed by your coaching. I don't think your coaching is a difference maker. So I get you're getting players. So how do I assess this? Am I expecting the players to carry the coaching staff, or is the coaching staff going to catch up and pass the players and kind of put them in the positions that they need to be successful? What do I do with the Canes football team? Because I have a hard time setting any kind of real expectations more than a 7 or 8 win team again.
Yeah, it's tough to do because, this is year 3 of the quote unquote rebuild, as Mario likes to call it. And you got yourself, one of the more coveted quarterbacks in the transfer portal, Cam Ward. And I think, as a University of Miami fan, you know that, hey, the last time Miami went into the portal and got a quarterback, Derek King turned out to be pretty good his first year, right? They won 8-3 with him. And I think you look at Cam Ward and you see a lot of similarities to Derek King, a guy who can extend plays with his legs, a guy who's sort of a dual threat.
He's actually more accurate than King.
Right. But in terms of just what they do on the field, right? The fact it's not your traditional drop back passer, a guy that gives you a different wrinkle than what you had with Tyler Van Dyke. You have to think, well, you've improved there, right? You've improved in the quarterback room, and Tyler Van Dyke sort of wore out his welcome with the interceptions as the season went on. So you think you've upgraded there. I think you look at the offensive line, you say, well, that's still a very strong unit, right? So he's going to have time to throw the football. You look at receiver, he's got 2 of the top returning receivers in the ACC. So from an offensive perspective, right, you got Mark Fletcher, you've got some other guys in the backfield that were highly touted. You think, okay, maybe this is a better offense this year. Then you flip over to the defensive side and you say, well, you lost James Williams, you lost Cam Kitchens. Who maybe, weren't superstars, but certainly going to get drafted in the NFL. They left the year early. That puts you in a hole in the secondary. You lose a couple of other experienced guys at cornerback. I think they did well on the defensive line in the portal. Elijah Alston's going to be a really good player. I think, getting a key Mesidor back is going to help. So I think it's a better football team, right? On paper, based on what they did, I think it's a better football team just alone with Cam Ward. But to sit here and project on February 23rd and say Miami's going to win 10 games, when really we still have to go through another transfer portal cycle. Oh, by the way, we this spring we're going to see how many guys Miami loses or picks up in the portal because there's another window. So it's just really hard. I think they're a better football team. I think we can say that with some conviction, but I don't know what that translates to in terms of wins and losses. I think the schedule's favorable. It's not loaded with superpowers. Florida is down. There's some other ACC teams on the schedule that are just okay. So
we're watching our boys lose to mediocre and shitty teams, dude. So I'm not even worried about good teams. I'm worried about anybody on the schedule now. I feel like Scarface getting interviewed, and getting all pulled all over the place. Say, hey, you can't do anything to me that Castro has not done already. I've already lost to FIU. I've already lost to what was that team in Appalachian State? I almost lost to what was it?
No, Middle Tennessee State. They didn't lose to Appalachian
Middle Tennessee State. That's it. Middle Tennessee State. Lost to Georgia Tech. I mean,
lost to Rutgers in the bowl game.
Lost to Rutgers. Yeah, why don't you just keep, bitch slapping me here while at it? You know what I'm saying? So I worry about that's exactly the point of my question.
Yeah.
Is that no matter what you added, I'm still nervous as hell about anything that goes on with this team, dude.
Mario has to prove that he can get this program to play at the level. He still hasn't gotten there. They still have yet to prove that they can play like the old University of Miami. Nobody has done that. Mark Richt did it with a lot of smoke and mirrors in 2017, and then it all fell apart down the stretch when they lost to Pittsburgh in the ACC championship and then the bowl game. So nobody in 20 years has been able to get Miami to look like Miami again. Why do I think Mario Cristobal will? Because I think he has gotten the talent level in a lot of ways better than others have had it. And I get it. People have said, well, Miami's had talent for years. I disagree. Go look at the NFL. It's not the same level.
I have one school for you.
Who's that?
Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Class after class, and Jimbo didn't get it done, and class after class. Right. So, sometimes I get you can bring in the talent. You know what I'm saying? And right. Shula was bringing in decent talent. But then here comes some guy named Nick, and all of a sudden it's, different results at Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So that I still need to see Mario, and that's where it's funny. I can't put I'm not even putting any expectations on this team anymore right now.
You can't until, it's been 20 years. What expectations do they deserve? I know the Las Vegas came out with 9.5 wins as the win total. Some of the early numbers for this coming season. That was after adding Cam Ward. 9.5 should be what it is every year at Miami, right? Based on what your talent background is, that should always be the number until the next coach can come in here and get them to a national championship contending level. I don't know that Miami will ever get to that. I said that 15 years ago to my editor, Walter Villa. I said that. I said, I don't know that Miami. I said it on this show
for years. Yes.
I don't know that they will ever get back there because it's a different ball game in college football, and the way power has shifted now to conference. It didn't matter before what conference you were in, right? Miami dominated when they were an independent. They got to the Big East. They kicked everybody's ass. It didn't matter. It matters now what conference you're in. It matters. It's going to matter when it comes to the playoff spots. It's going to matter. Look at FSU. Went 13-0 and got left out of the party. Why? Because they were in the ACC. So I don't know how much more evidence you need that it matters what conference you're in. And that's not the way college football was when Miami was successful. So now they're in an inferior conference. And Mario
they're an inferior team. And they're an inferior team. Let's be honest now. And let me lead you to something that I just thought of that I don't think most of us are not thinking about this because we're not playing chess and looking ahead of time. So FSU's gone kind of cold with this whole transfer crap and get the hell out of the conference and all that. And there might be a loophole that they could try to challenge or whatever. Okay. Let's say it never happens. Fine. But let's say it does happen. And then there's a loophole and they find their way out. If you're the University of Miami, you have to realize from here on out, nobody is bringing you along anymore because of your logo. Your reputation died years ago because it's been so long, it doesn't even exist anymore. So if these two power conferences want to grow more in the future and add a few more teams, it behooves Miami to turn this program around with a quickness in the next couple of years and become a really sexy powerhouse. So that way, the Big Ten or the SEC say, oh, no, we can use that now. We can use that now. But if you're an also run, which is what the Canes are, they're a middling team. At best, they're a middling team, by the way. On their best years, they're a middling team. If not, they're lesser than that. They have lost all their luster. And so what you need to do is get back on track and become a monster again so you can become that sexy girl that everybody wants to take to the prom, because that was part of their sexiness when even they were an independent. And it got to a point where, people were afraid to play them, but they still took them on because it brought ratings and it brought fans and all kinds of stuff. The use, that shit is dying for them. They really need to get back to being relevant so they can get to the big bucks again, because if they don't get relevant, I don't know how they join the party of the SEC or the Big Ten.
And that's why I've said, and I'm not trying to be over dramatic when I said this when Mario got hired, but I basically said if he doesn't pan out, This might be over for Miami. It might just be done.
Right.
Because I don't know that you can resurrect a program that's been dormant for that long, especially in the world that we're living in now, as I mentioned, where the SEC and Big Ten are at such a huge advantage. And once you fall out of it, there's really no coming back. At this
Remember,
point.
there wasn't big money.
Right.
Coaches weren't getting paid. There wasn't anything like what there used to be when the U was the U.
Mm-hmm.
College football was nothing, bro. You could find coaches left and right. Now the up and coming coaches are scooped up right away, and they're paid a boatload of money. And because of everything that's established now, you nailed it. The roadmap that existed then allowed a pirate to come out of anywhere and become, everything. Now an independent will die in today's world. It's just not going to happen for you, man.
It really won't. And that's what makes, you kind of have to watch Notre Dame as well, right? Notre Dame for years has been able to survive on its brand name, but they also haven't won a national title in a long time either. And they've had the
network. They have the network.
They've had the network, but they've also been very, very resistant to joining the Big Ten for a long time. Is that going to change in the next 5 years?
Well, it will. It will.
I think so.
They had the luxury of doing that.
Right.
Now the conference money has caught up and maybe even passed them. So now they're going to have to get into the fold. But at the moment, for decades, they didn't have to. They could be their own standing brand.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen anymore with what the Big Ten and the SEC are doing. It's too much of a power move, bro.
Yeah,
too much.
And this whole expansion now to 14 teams, and the SEC wanting to have 4 guaranteed teams in the Big Ten, and this is what they were plotting all along, brother. This is what it was all about. It's shorten, close the size of the club, only let certain people in, and those people share the money. So Miami's time is now. They need Mario Cristobal to get this thing rolling. Right now, you have a lot of people who have invested money into Mario and the program, and they're getting these players here through NIL. He's got to win. He's got to get this thing back.
Yeah, he definitely does, man. But by the way, you're an Apple guy, right?
Yes.
Did you download Apple Sports?
I have not.
Dude, you should download it. You should download Apple Sports because you put all your favorite teams, right? And yesterday, I you see the app, and I have, FAU, FIU, men's, women,
Nice.
and it's all there, and then like if you want, you tap into the Florida Panthers one, the Canes, and all that, and it's actually really cool. And I ask you about this one, you should get it because everybody should have it because you could control it. And every day you have just your local games, you have them all there. But your broadcast debut, my brother, talk to me.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Last night I called my first college basketball game for ESPN Plus with AJ Ricketts, who's super talented. He's only 31 years old, though. This guy is a rising star, grad, works for FIU and is one of their play-by-play guys. Really, really talented. But he did a great job setting an old sports writer up to pretend to be a color analyst for 2 hours. And thankfully the game was good. FIU won 76-71. It was a really thrilling second half, as thrilling as it can be for a team that's only won 9 games this year and struggled. But it was a good basketball game.
The ladies are the ones having a good season, actually.
Right.
And they lost. And they lost, I believe, last night, I think, unfortunately, right? I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. So, it's fun. I'm getting an opportunity to do that stuff with FIU now, call a few games and expand my horizons a little bit. And, it's ESPN Plus, which I know some people you got to pay for, right? You got to have the extra access, but that's the world we live in now. But hopefully I get some more opportunities to call some games in the future. I know I'm going to be doing some baseball and some softball games and maybe football down the road.
Nice.
Weren't you on the call with George Richards on the softball?
Yes, that's right.
We did softball for 1 inning, and then the new equipment that they installed at the softball stadium crapped out on us after 1 inning, and so George and I sat there just watching the game for 4 innings, and then they waved us off and said, "Hey, we're trying to get this thing fixed. We apologize. You'll still get paid. Thanks for showing up." So this was my real debut, ESPN Plus
I listened to
basketball.
the 1 inning.
Yeah, welcome to the reality of this world, right? Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, it happens. Shit happens, man. And live, and there's nothing like live, bro. You can't hide. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. All right, my brother. What do you got going on in the athletics so folks can check you out?
Well, I mean, look, spring football is going to start March 4th. Miami's opening camp then, and people probably want to say, well, who do they still have, and who left, and who are they bringing in? I did a couple of articles this week, looking at the 11 best transfer slash recruiting additions to the roster. I ranked those guys, and then I did a 24. So you got 35 players that I wrote about as far as spring football and just what this team is going to look like. Essentially, the 35 most important players going into the start of camp.
Love it. All right, man. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Or you can keep up with his broadcast schedule. You already got a next game or what?
Yes, I will be doing FIU baseball. I think, FIU baseball. I think it's March 4th. They play Seton Hall, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be doing that's
cool.
like a Monday night, 6 p.m. I know Seton Hall is not necessarily a baseball power, but hey, you know what? It's another game for me to call, and I'll be on there with AJ again. So that'll be fun.
Have some fun, bro. Get some experience. Do it, man.
Thank you,
Play by
man.
play in
Thank you.
color is fun, bro. It's fun. It's fun
It
stuff.
is.
All right, Manny. Thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care, man. See you guys.
You got it. Caneswear, baby. All you need is our code, Big O10, whether you're online at caneswear.com. And if you order over $99, you're going to get free shipping. You use our code, Big O10. You will get 10% off. If you go in person at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, you can use our code, Big O10, and you will get it off. They got anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. They've got InterMiami gear, Messi jerseys, Messi shirts, Miami Heat, Miami Marlins, Florida Panthers. What else am I missing? Am I missing anything else? All the local teams. They've got them there at Caneswear. Go say hi to Brett and Jeff and all the amazing people out there. They know how to get it done at caneswear.com.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right. Bruce Wilson, you are correct, sir. X has not played up to his inflated salary the past 2 years. That's why he wants to come back. He has to take a major pay cut because he's been getting overpaid for a while now. Still need patience with the Canes. Marcellus, brother, there's not much more patience to have. Mario needs to come up with some serious results in the next couple of years here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're getting to year 3 already. And I haven't seen a lot of improvement. I know the talent's better, but the coaching is not. Lofi says next year our defense might be the worst in our own division. Lots of pieces to be figured out, and it's too early, bro. You're reacting like I see some of the writers too. You got to wait to see what they draft and what they add in free agency and who improves from the roster the year before and all that. You just never know. And you know what needs to happen more than anything, Lofi? The offense needs to start carrying the team more. And that's where you must improve the line and the running game, Lofi. That's where I think some of you kind of miss the boat here. You know, you need a good defense and you need to make some stops. And you need to make timely stops, right? But the one factor that I need the Dolphins to get across is they need to become a much more physical and dominating offense. The team gets bailed out by the defense way too much. And it depends on the defense way too much for the last 10 plus years, maybe 20. And rarely does the offense lead the charge. And you have an offensive-minded coach. That's your head coach. That needs to be what leads this team. So that's what needs to change. And then you'll have a better defense because you can keep them fresher. But if you're going to throw them out there because, you're going to have a bunch of 3-and-outs and you're going to do irresponsible play calling and all kinds of stuff, and you're not going to dedicate yourself to the run and things like that, then you create trickle-down effects. Okay? And that's what ends up happening. When you make stupid decisions like keeping Chubb in at the end of a fourth quarter when the game is over and it's a 30-point loss and he's 3 minutes left in the game, and why are you there? These are the stupid things that set you back and set your own team back. And when you're running the ball and you stop running the ball and now you fail on offense, now you're putting your defense back out there again. There's a lot of things that come to game management that needs to get better with Mike McDaniel drastically. And it better improve drastically this year, because I will be losing my shit if it doesn't. I don't have any more patience for Mike McDaniel and his goofiness on the sidelines. None. I'm done with patience. I need to see results on the sidelines now. I'm going to be incredibly critical of Mike McDaniel this year if he continues doing stupid shit on the sidelines. Okay? Because it affects everything and anything that goes on with this team and all of his players. Because he doesn't manage the game. So if anything, I need the offense to pick it up. Let's see. Marcellus. No expectations, no disappointment. LOL. Yeah, it's kind of. I think FSU got left out more because of Q. Yeah, no, that's what it was. It was a QB. Definitely a QB. College football is destroying itself. Kind of. Yeah. Mario has to represent better. Cubans can coach football. Come on, Mario. We need you to produce. Brother, I don't care about Cuban or Haitian or Angolan, or I don't give a shit where you come from. I don't care what color you are. I need you to win, bro. I need you to win. And I'm a big Mario guy, and I am looking bad. Looking bad. I'm looking like I made the wrong suggestion because I was all in on Mario. That's all I can say. Right now, I look like I was wrong. That's all I can tell you. And I better see him improve. And it's not, I don't need him to do it for Cubans, bro. Cubans can do it for themselves. Puerto Ricans can do it for themselves. Okay? Everybody, every nationality, y'all can do it for yourselves. Okay? I don't need Mario to succeed for us Cubans. All right? I need Mario to succeed for us Canes. Okay? I don't care about Cubans. I care about Canes right now. All right? Mario doesn't do shit for Cubans. By the way, Cubans aren't the number one draft picks and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Maybe if he was, coaching baseball, maybe he can steal a few Cubans to help him out. You know what I'm saying? But I need him to win so he can smoke some Cubans. We do cigars a lot better than football, actually. Anybody seen Lewis Sharp? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you going to say? I lost like so many of you with that Sharp one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you, did you see the EA Sports thing?
No, what happened?
With the college football?
No.
For the name, image, and likeness?
No.
The thing is, they're going to get the game and $600 for their name.
Oh, yes, but they have yes, and they have to apply, like they have to sign a release or some shit like that just to get the money.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. and most of them are going to say, "Screw you." They're not going to take Well, the punter might take $600. The fourth string.
Yeah, or the smaller schools, those guys will take.
Yeah.
But the bigger schools, the Power Fives, where
the guys
are making
the
money.
NIL, $600. I make that in an hour. Get out of here. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Let's see. Really hoping the salary cap increases helps our needs. Yeah, it'll help, man. It increases every year. I don't know. You may want to tell some of the media members that the cap increases every year. Maybe not 30 million, but it does increase every year. Cap going up, doesn't it mean more money for players? Yes, it does. But in this case, you needed the cap space in order to work it. So, yes, you will have to, salaries change. You don't get any more players for it, but you have more cap space to kind of work the players that you do need. So it helps. It's going to help. It's not going to make anybody that, oh, yeah, I get, 4 extra players now or something. No, that's not how it goes. Let's see. Big O, got to give it to you. You have a magic 8-ball. The Cuban brujeria from Hialeah is working. You know it, man. I know Alec Ingold doesn't run much, but in his 4-year career, his 4-year career long is 4 yards. Yeah, well, he's not there for running, bro. Actually, he catches more than he runs. Huh?
Has he ever had a carry at all? Honestly, with the dog, I don't remember him carrying the ball.
Yeah, no, he's had a carry. Yeah, he's had a carry or 2 or 3. He's had a couple carries, but he's actually caught the ball more. Oh, and there was one I still remember his first year. He had one down the sidelines. That was I think he dropped it, and it was just perfect. It would have been a big gainer for him. But he's there to block, dude. He's there to protect. He's there to block, and he can pass catch a little bit. That's kind of what he does. He's not really there to run. But going back to my last point, get a punishing runner to then complement a guy like Ingold. Our boy Brooks from last year can be his backup. Why do you think I say I want Derrick Henry? Because I need you to get more. I need this offense to have an attitude with the finesse. I can't have you be a complete finesse team because we got to go to December and January and February. We run into bad weather and tough teams and tough defenses. You need to be a more physical unit. That's the way I look at it. Okay? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yes. What? 2 carries. Okay. And how many catches? 2 carries for Ingold, and how many catches? 13 catches. Yeah, out of 16 targets. And I'm still cringing from that year in his first year. That dude, that would have been a beautiful play. It was I think it was a wheel route, if I'm correct. If I remember it correctly. Anyway. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics in Hialeah. If your company, hey, you're looking for new uniforms, whatever it is you need, 3A Graphics can take care of it for you. You need magnets and calendars and hats and whatever it is for your business or anything like that. 3A Graphics. Alan Blanco. Last night, the Hurricanes defeated the Panthers, breaking their 11-game road win streak, and they could have match the NHL record. Unfortunately, they lose to the Hurricanes 1-0. What was it, like 18 seconds left, 19 seconds left or something? Ridiculous, man. That sucks. Anyway, Saturday, they take on Washington at 6. The Lady Canes lost to Virginia last night, 77-60. They're 16-10. They shot 37% from the field. Sunday, they're at Clemson at 2 o'clock. FAU over SMU, 80-70. What a nasty-ass dunk by Elijah Martin. That was nice, dude. Sunday, they're at Memphis, 2 o'clock. FIU, Manny Navarro just called this game, beat Liberty 76-71, improved to 4-8 in the conference. Arturo Dean had 24 points. Javonta Hawkins had 20. Saturday, they take on Jacksonville State at 6 o'clock. Liberty, on the ladies' side, beat FIU 71-56. They've got Jackson State at 3:30 on Saturday at Jackson State. Tonight, the Heat and the Pelicans. Fly, Pelican, fly. Pelicans are favored by 3.5 at home against the Heat. Over and unders 219. Saturday at 4 o'clock, G-Tech visiting the Hurricanes. Men's basketball team is just 6-10 in the conference. G-Tech is 4-12. So these are 2 of the bad teams. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. And when we like to focus in on an MVP, we like to give our MVP award out there, and it is our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
All right. Well, last night, man, Vladimir Golden, the center for FAU, had a hell of a night, 21 points, 2 blocks. But last night, Elijah Martin stole the show. John L. Davis is the Rock of Gibraltar for the FAU Owls. Okay. I can give John L. Davis the Cutter's Edge MVP of the night every night. You know what I mean? Because John L. Davis has just been an absolute stud from the second he put on an Owls uniform. He has had a fabulous career for the Owls. And by the way, I can't get enough of watching games with the Owls and the floor. That floor is so good. But anyway, Elijah Martin last night, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and a viral, nasty dunk in the paint. If you haven't seen it, go to the FAU men's basketball Twitter page. You can catch it there. It's somewhere on YouTube, whatever. But Elijah Martin, we talk a lot about John L. Davis. Sometimes, we talk about the big man in the middle, Golden, the Russian Golden. But Elijah Martin, man, he does a lot for FAU. And last night he was electrifying. Elijah Martin, our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right. Market is quiet, by the way. Bitcoin holding strong at 51,000. So not really a bad day overall. Kind of the altcoins have taken a hit. Jasmine went down, but that happens when you have parabolic rises. Remember, we always tell you don't get on the parabolic rise. You wait for it to come down a little bit after its parabolic rise, and then find a floor, and then that's when you can get in again if you didn't get in. Or if you want to reload and get the dip, that's what you do. Dow Jones is up 62 points. The S&P is up nearly 2 points. The NASDAQ is barely up 9,000th of a point. So there you go. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? McD needs to involve his offensive players far more. Yeah, he needs to get everybody involved. Does Henry run behind a zone scheme? Yes, he can. Big O, at the end of the day, it's like you've been saying, you could get a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. McDaniel is that horse. You're right. So, what else do we have? Go ahead, call me crazy. I don't give a shit, but Miami Dolphins need to be a run-first team, of course. True Fin, I am glad you brought this up. Let's get into a couple of topics here for the Miami Dolphins. Why don't we, right? Because I told you to start the show that there were some pretty good topics to talk about. What do you think Justin Herbert and Tua have in common? It certainly ain't winning because Tua does more of that. It ain't height because Justin's got that. It ain't arm. Justin's got that. It ain't head-to-head because Tua's got that. But you know what it is? New offensive coordinator Greg Roman was asked about, what he wanted to do with Justin Herbert now that he's working with him. Right? Where does he want to improve with Justin Herbert? So Roman was speaking with reporters on Thursday on the best way he can, make Justin Herbert better. Says he wants to establish an elite running game to complement Herbert. He says, can you imagine Justin Herbert with a great running game? We don't know, but I can imagine what it might look like. So that's what I envision. Interesting. By the way, who's been talking about running the ball with Tua? That'd be me, right? You know why? Because we have a head coach that is playing Tua like you would play Dan Marino, like you would play Jim Kelly, like you would play Pat Mahomes. And even though he's very injury prone, if you give him a decent line, Joe Burrow can do it also. Okay? But in the history of the game, there aren't a lot of people that can do that kind of stuff. You can't do it with Bob Greasy. Can't do it with Drew Brees. Can't. Sorry. Can't do it with Josh Allen. You put Josh Allen to throw the ball 40 times a game, and you're going to have turnovers left and right. That's what Joe Brady noticed. Justin Herbert, you can't have him throwing 40 times a game. He'll be turning over the ball left and right. He's not that guy. You know why? Because Kirk Cousins is not that guy. Because Dak Prescott's not that guy. Because Derek Carr's not that guy. Because C.J. Holmes is not that guy. Because Trevor Lawrence is not that guy. Do you understand where I'm getting at? None of them are that guy. There's only two guys right now currently in the league that I could say, let's not have any running game or a half-ass running game, and let's just rear back and let it fly. Mahomes and Burrow. Nobody else. Nobody else. There's no one else in the entire league that you can just say, yo, line up and throw the ball all you want. Can't do it with Jalen Hurts. He's incapable of doing that. Can't do it with Lamar Jackson. Incapable of doing that. Just like Josh Allen. Incapable. Just like Justin Herbert. Incapable. These are things that a lot of people just don't understand. And when it happens to an older man, you know, the young people I kind of understand because they don't get to see it. But an older guy has way more examples. Sorry, young people. Again, I got to play the experience game here. You know, we lived in an era, in the same era, okay? If there was no running game, would you trust Warren Moon? Hell yeah, right? No running game, you're going to trust Jim Kelly, right?
Yeah.
No running game, you're going to trust Marino.
Yes, yes.
Correct, right?
Yeah, because he never had a running game. Yeah.
Right. Well, he actually, yeah.
Well, no, I'm looking at like results though. With Jim Kelly, he always had like Thurman Thomas. He always had that. So
Dan Fouts, Brett Favre. Okay, you know there are guys.
Gunslinger.
We had guys back in the day. We had more of them than they do now. And that's the lack of education, understanding, perspective that is going on here. And this is where I look at Joe Brady and I say, God bless you, dude. You know, even though you're bettering the Bills, and I hate you for that, but you looked at it and you said, no, we got to run. This guy can't sit there and throw 45 times. We'll die. Haven't you watched what's been going on? He can't do that. That's because most guys can't. Most guys can't. And some of you older guys out there, you're falling into the trap. And you're falling into the trap that you think we have a bunch of Jim Kellys out there. And we don't. And we don't have a bunch of Marinos. We don't have them. We don't have Warren Moons. We don't have them. That's just the way it is. And Brett Favre, to a certain extent, got you in trouble by gunslinging a lot. Okay? he ends up getting away with it by like a hair because, brother, he just had a knack for making some plays. You got to give people credit when they deserve it. And I give Brett Favre the cojones award, okay? Because that guy was fearless of anything and everything. And you name the situation, it didn't matter to Brett Favre. He was going to go into it fearless. But we had more of those kind of guys. We don't have them now. So you better run the ball a lot for Jordan Love. And I showed you the examples during the playoffs. When they didn't run the ball for CJ, he went right into the tank. When they didn't run the ball for Jordan Love, and they have two running backs that they pound the shit out of you with, they pound you with Jones, and then they hit you with what's the name of the big kid from Boston College? I forgot his name, but anyways, you know what I'm talking about. They pound you with the other guy then after that. He's a big guy and can move. And they will gain yards on your ass, and they will move. And then when you couldn't run, Jordan Love went and crapped in his pants. Because you didn't understand the game. Those of you, I already want Jordan Love over Tua. No, you're just an idiot, and you're not watching the games. You're not really watching it with intelligence. You're watching with emotion. Huh? Dylan. That's it. And there you go. Finn's in the house, and Giovanni, thank you. Always on top of it. You guys are awesome. So, AJ Dillon. So, this is what I see, and that's where. Why do you think I'm mentioning Derrick Henry? Why do you think I sit here and tell you 20 years later and 30 years later what happened to Marino? You didn't want to run. You didn't want to give him a dominant running game, but you gave it to Jim Kelly. And he dominated Marino, and he dominated the division, and he dominated the conference. Didn't win it. But, man, I would have had would you love a slice of the success at least that the Bills had? Yeah, I would. And Jim Kelly can gunsling with the best of them, dude. I don't give a shit if he was playing for the Outlaws. No, it was the Gamblers. I don't care if he was playing for the University of Miami in the Peach Bowl, the Gamblers, or the Bills. Okay? Kelly could sling the rock. And, again, another fearless dude. But we don't have a lot of those guys. And you don't want to play that kind of football more often than not. You need to have a running game. Even with Mahomes, they hammer with Pacheco. Even if he gets 3 yards a carry, watch the stats. They'll still give it to him 20 times, 25 times. And that kid runs with a vengeance just to keep him honest. Even with Mahomes, they give him the damn running game. Now, can I trust Mahomes without a running game? Yeah, I can trust him. I can trust Joe Burrow. It ends there. Everyone else in the league needs a running game, including Marino. So I read that article and I said, God bless you, dude. This maybe educates people. And that's what I want for the Dolphins. I want a dominant, not a finesse running game, a dominant running game. The one that says, it's 4th and 1 or it's 3rd and 1, and we're all sitting there going, no problem, bro. We'll hammer it right then. We'll get 3 yards and move the pile. That's what I want to see. When I see that, then I know that Tua has exactly what he needs in order to succeed. And, there you go. That's an element that's missing from this offense. It was missing from Buffalo, and then they figured it out. So that's one subject there that I wanted to talk about with the Miami Dolphins. The other subject has to do with Mike McDaniel. If you can, please, sir, pull up the video. And I want to give a little love to Gus 1388 because, his loyalty to this program is second to none. And he's really a good dude and been a strong supporter of us for years. And he kind of, at times, is like a secret producer on the show. because he sends me stuff that I may not have seen. A lot of times I see it, and then there's a bunch of times that I didn't see something he found, And so he finds this video, a very interesting video of Sean McVay. We're going to play it for you. And Sean McVay looks in the mirror and admits that his game management sucks at times. And then he needs help, and he pretty much labels it a weakness. So he hires a guy by the name of John Streicher. He is now the coordinator of football strategy. And I say this because in a very important year for the Miami Dolphins, because as I told you about the salary cap, manageable this year, a challenge, but still doable next year. In 26, it's going to be a really impossible hurdle, okay? It'll be a harder hurdle. Maybe you can overcome it, but it'll be a miracle it'll take, okay? Miracle. But the next years, okay. So what's imperative to get it right in these next 2 years? To try to take advantage with these group of players and try to win it. But if you don't improve your game management, which has been a strong critique of mine, of Mike McDaniel, the number one problem with the Miami Dolphins is Mike McDaniel and his game management skills, which they suck. So here's Sean McVay openly admitting it and then talking about adding a gentleman that is helping him with game management because he makes too many mistakes during the game. Here we go. Here's Sean McVay.
What is the vision for John Streicher's responsibility?
Not use my timeouts in the second half until I need to. No, really, here's what I would say. When I look at myself and really our team from just an after-action review, you say, all right, where's the game going? Where are things that you can do to try to separate yourself and win in those margins? And this game management or this game management coordinator, there's a select group of people that have really earned a great reputation around the league. They have calls on Wednesdays throughout the season. They're really passionate about trying to be able to give each team an edge. And you look at what this guy's reputation has been in Tennessee, working closely with Mike Vrabel. And I think from afar, I've always admired and respected the way that they handle situations. There's an innate understanding of the rules and how to be able to use those to your advantage. Clock management, some of the situational things that do end up coming up. He's done a lot of different things for Tennessee, but when they ended up having to transition, he was a guy that became available, and you wanted to be able to jump at the opportunity to get him on board because I think he's going to be really valuable. I've really enjoyed being around him in the short amount of time and getting some exposure to just the passion he has for that specific part of the game, while also having a big picture capacity for it schematically and then also being able to evaluate personnel. So that'll be the focus and concentration. I think it'll be evolving. We were sitting down the other day and he was talking about all the different roles and responsibilities that he carried in Tennessee, and a lot of those will be carryover. But I thought it was important that we put somebody in that role to be able to be, just more consistent and help me be better for our football team. And he's somebody that I'm going to really rely upon, and I think he's going to help us out a lot.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
I can only...
Hey, Sean, following up on that question, what was that like for you, recognizing that was something, I mean, as you've sort of joked about, and even in this interview, like recognizing that was something that maybe you wanted to look into adding to your staff in this way? I know you've had people weigh in the past, but this seems like a very clearly defined asset for you and for you guys.
It does, Jordan. And we've had coaches that have kind of carried dual responsibilities. I think it was important to be able to isolate that separately because of where the landscape of the league is going. And because if you're just being honest, I know I can improve in that area for our football team. And so you always want to take steps in the right direction. And that's not perfect by any stretch, but I do respect the track record. And he's a guy that is so well respected in that arena. And you can see the influence that he had on a lot of situations being handled the right way in Tennessee over the last handful of years with the responsibility that he had for Vrabes. As soon as he became available, the people that carry the highest reputation in that network of coaches or people that operate in that circle immediately, you got to go get Stretch. He's the best out there. And immediately we wanted to be able to act on that. And I give a lot of credit to Brian Zanders. He's so in tune with some of that stuff. He recognized and identified that right away. Chase Blackburn was able to provide, great insight into the value that he had from when he was in Tennessee for that year. And we wanted to be intentional about intentional and proactive about trying to be able to get him on board with us, because I know he was going to have some options, and I'm glad that it worked out that he's here.
All right. All I can tell you is Mike McDaniel, go look at what Sean McVay is doing. You desperately need this. Desperately need this. And by the way, they got him from where? Who beat Miami at the end of the season to make their season just completely go awry? Tennessee. Mike Vrabel, better coach, and he hires better people around him. So Mike McDaniel, again, this is a young coach. He's learning, just like a lot of young coaches. Look at Sean McVay, still learning at this point, and now's when he's making this move. But, he's already got a title at least. So that's the difference. You get that leeway, you could give it to him. But in this case, this is exactly what Mike McDaniel needs. A specialist that helps him with game strategy. Because McVay, Andy Reid, who was terrible with game management, he got better. McDaniel, LeFleur, these guys are head coaches and they're calling the offense. It's a lot of shit going on, dude. So you've got to be aware of everything going on. So you're worried about your offense, and there's Bradley Chubb out on the field in the fourth quarter of a meaningless game, and look, now you screwed yourself. Because maybe you're thinking about what to do in the next possession, and you should be watching everything that's going on, and you can't. Because you've got to go talk with your offense and your line and your quarterback and your receivers and whatever, and you can't really pay attention the way you're supposed to. See what I'm saying? Oh, no, yeah, let the defensive coordinator handle it. Yeah, no, but you need to be there and be the eyes overall over the defensive coordinator, over the offensive coordinator, over the special. Oh, I'm sorry, you're the offensive coordinator too? Oh, okay, that's a problem. In-game specialist, he's in his headset. Hey, coach, you should take some of these players out right now. This game is over, and, you've got guys out there that really don't need to be out there. We can save them for next week. Yeah, that's a good move. Let's get them out there. So I saw that, and thank you, Gus. Appreciate you sending me that. I said, this is exactly what Mike McDaniel needs. Okay. All right. I got two more Dolphin topics that I want to touch base on. Before I do that, let's go with B-Days. B-Days. Let's see. Emily Blunt, movie actress. She is 41 years old. Niecy Nash, TV actress, is 54. Josh Gad, Miami Dolphins fan and actor, is 43 years old. Let's see. D'Angelo Russell, basketball player, 28. Jamal Murray, basketball player, 27. Skylar Gray, pop singer, she is 38. Casemiro, soccer player, 32. Let's see. Andrew Wiggins, basketball player, 29. Aziz Ansari, actor, 41. And that's it. Those are the folks celebrating birthdays today. Let's go with a little music history. Today, on this date in 2006, surviving members of Alice in Chains announced that they were reforming the band 4 years later after singer Lane Staley died. Their new singer, I'm forgetting his name now. Anyway, he does an excellent job. I love him, man. I think he does an excellent job. Great front man. hell of a lot more life on stage in Lane Staley. Lane had a hell of a voice, there's no doubt, but this guy's actually a much better frontman. In 2010, Stone Temple Pilots revealed that they completed their self-titled comeback album, the group's first record since 2001. In 78, Whitesnake made its live debut at the Skybird Club in Nottingham, England, in the still of the night. In 78, the Eagles received the Grammy for Record of the Year for Hotel California. The band refused to perform during the ceremony because they didn't think they were going to win. And in 2011, on this date, the Foo Fighters released Rope, their first single off the new album, Wasting Light. That is what happened today in music history. All right. All right. So the salary cap has gone up $30 million to $255.4 million. It was $224.8. So basically $30 million that it went up. And, in life, you should have a little patience and wait till you have all the information. Because when you don't have all the information and then you go out there and start talking about something, it kind of ends up being out of place. And so I get it. Some people have to get clicks to write, get views to watch, and they need to add the dramatics in life. And for the last 2 months, all I heard was cap hell. And oh my God, it's going to be a cap disintegration for the Dolphins, and it's going to be impossible, and their team is going to be terrible next year, and all this and that. And first of all, you don't even know who they're drafting. You don't even know who they're signing. You don't even know who's going to improve from within. So how good do you know they're going to be, or how bad do you know they're going to be? And do you have all the information? Did you have the salary cap information? No, you didn't. And so why don't you wait for that? How can you predict a mock draft now when you haven't gone through free agency? Why do you keep putting the cart before the horse? I understand in the context of sensationalism, it's the offseason. I've got nothing to talk about. Oops. Mike Tannenbaum made a terrible suggestion of let's trade Jalen Waddle. Hey, I'm bored. I've got nothing to write or talk about. Let's run with that. And that's what the media has become nowadays. Let's write or talk about shit that makes no sense, that's never going to happen, and it's not even reality. But it fills space. It gets clicks. It gets you to argue amongst yourselves. It gets people pissed off. Mission accomplished. Even if there was nothing substantive about it. Even if there was no real, actual substance to it. Nothing. There's no actual facts. Nothing is real about it. It's all made up gibberish. So where are they now? Are they all backtracking? I was wrong about that cap stuff. It might not be that hard. Or what are you going to do? Spin it and say, well, there's still some challenges ahead. Let me keep the drama going. No other challenges than no other team faces. No challenges that are any different than any other year. But let's make it more than what it really is when it isn't. Just like, hey, Albert Wilson is the second coming. No, he isn't. We didn't buy receivers in shorts. Do you know why? Because I've already lived through Brandon Manning. Was it Brandon Manning? Something like that? Little receiver out of Wisconsin or something that they drafted in the 5th round. I want to say in the mid-90s somewhere. Brian Manning or something like that. I lived through all of those kind of things back in when I was a young reporter in the 90s. You know, I remember those days. And we used to get wowed about guys in shorts. And I learned my lesson after that. I want to say it was 5th round. Look at the 5th round draft in 96, 95, 97, something like that. And I want to say Manning is the last name. I want to say it was Brian Manning or something like that. But he was, another guy, the guy with the gang signs that they brought in as a street free agent, Jimmy brought in. And I remember that's another guy that started shining. I've seen these stories before. And so let's create all this drama and sensationalism about Albert Wilson running around in shorts. Or this year's flavor was who? Robbie Chosen? Because, you got to write it up and talk it up. Because it's nice and it's sensationalism. But is there any real substance? And this is not hindsight. I was laughing at all the Robbie Chosen talk this past season. I was laughing at all of the Albert Wilson talk this past season because I've lived through Brian Manning. Drafted by the Dolphins, I want to say like in the 5th round. No? Can't find it? Maybe not Wisconsin, Green Bay or something. I don't know why I'm thinking Wisconsin, Green Bay or something. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it was another school. I was completely wrong. You know what I mean? But I want to say it was Brian Manning or something like that. Goggle it. Well, don't use Wisconsin. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. I know I'm not wrong on the Manning part, receiver, and maybe 5th round. Okay? Because seriously, I actually think I might have nailed the round and everything. If I'm correct. Here, I'll go. Let me see here. Here we go. I got somewhere to go here. Where is it? Oh, Shane Burton. That's a name. Okay. How about 97? Brian Manning. No, I got it. I found it. 97. 6th round. Brian Manning out of Stanford. There you go. I told you I got the school probably wrong, but I knew I had the name. I was off by a round. I said 5th. It was 6. And he was like, oh, dude, he was doing the same shit Albert Wilson was doing. Same shit. This is 1997, dude. Okay? This is, 27 years ago. Now, I remember that. Jordan was that receiver. Jordan was his last name that Jimmy brought in, and he also had a good training camp, and he disappeared completely once we put on pads. Charles Jordan. How about that, bitch? Yeah, I can remember some of those guys, and you can too now, right? Azukama disappeared. The other receiver, the other receiver that made some catches, he's still on the roster. He's going into his 3rd year. Braylon Sanders. Practice squad, but another preseason star. It's like it happens all the time. And people fall for this shit all the time. And so, I've lived it too many times already. I've watched it. And now the whole thing happened with the cap. And it's like, how are you making something out to be when you don't even have all the information? And there you go. So I hope everybody's kind of correcting themselves. Yeah, no, I didn't have all the information. Apparently, it's very manageable. Kind of like what Orlando Alzigiri said a year ago, that it would be manageable. And remember, we told you It'll be a little harder, but doable next year. Okay? Just to prepare you ahead of time. Because by next year, by December, they'll be writing about cap hell again coming. I'm just telling you. So I just want to prepare you for those future articles and talk show hosts. I don't even know if there's going to be any radio left in another year or two because they're about to. Did you see what happened with the takeover with Odyssey and all that? Oh, that shit is going to get ugly. Oh my God. Oh my God. And apparently they're going to move it more to news talk and politics and stuff like that. The company that took over is going to want more of that and less of the other stuff.
Because, again, if you get the hot button topics, there's more hot button topics in politics than there is in sports.
We're in an election year.
Yeah. It's all about clicks, and that's the only way you're going to get
money.
Only way you're going to get
ratings.
Because
everything else is dying. Yeah. So with the politics, you might survive with that, and you might make some money.
Because you always know there's always going to be the right and you always know it's always going to be.
Not only that, not only are they going to lean Odyssey more that way, they're going to sell off pieces of Odyssey now.
Yeah.
So now QAM may get sold. You never know. Maybe somebody maybe Jorge Mas. Yo.
I think they might keep one station around that,
right?
Just to broadcast the sports and things like that. That's all they're going to do, though, and have one or two talk shows. But
you actually, what would be a blessing? A mom and pop organization,
but I just
not a corporation buying a radio station.
I don't see it this time because the mom. How much do you get out of
dying?
it?
Yeah, it's also
how much.
Dying.
Yeah, you're going to pay money to get something.
It's a medium that's
not
dying.
there
it's hard,
anymore.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
Jalen Ramsey, 18 minutes ago, tweets out.
Yes.
Should be crazy how stuff plays out sometimes. But one thing I know for sure is that it was an honor teaming up with the greatest corner in Miami Dolphins history, in my opinion, X. Then he puts in little quotes, I won't ever forgive dude for not utilizing our full skill set.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what will change with this guy. You have to. A great coach does – especially, look, you know where Fangio effed up completely and showed me he's not special? When you inherit a team right away, you're not going to have all the players you need. So, and this is where McDaniel fails too, by the way. So what you have, you need to make the best meal possible. Did Fangio do that? No, he didn't. He was stuck in his ways, and he got the best out of it doing his way. But he could have maximized it even more by being flexible and using others to their strengths, i.e. Mike McDaniel fails the same way. You have Mike Gesicki. Okay, dude, we all know he doesn't block, but he's a mismatch as a wide receiver. So you can't scheme him in? Really? You're not a very good coach then. You can't stay with the run? You're not a very good coach then. You only know how to get Waddle and Tyreek in the offense. You can't mix other people. You're not a very good coach then. We got to be honest. If I'm going to critique Fangio for the same shit, you mean you're not going to put Jalen Ramsey on their best receiver to shadow him? Then you're not a very good coach then. You mean you're not going to pressure Will Levis or Lamar Jackson? Well, then you're not a very good coach then. Look, the worst thing that you do in this town is follow Don Shula and those of us that lived it. Because Chef Ramsay, in his best moment, can never be the chef that Don Shula was on the sidelines. Never. Never. And he can never be Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks that none of them were Hall of Famers. Don Shula got to a Super Bowl with 3 completely different teams. The Bob Greasy run-oriented team that won it. The Woodstock team that was with 2 quarterbacks that, by the way, has anybody gotten to the Super Bowl since? with 2 quarterbacks, thanks for playing. And then with pass-happy Marino and no running game and no defense. That's a coach that says, okay, I have these ingredients. I'm going to cook the meal this way. Oh, I have Woodstruck. I have these ingredients. Okay, one guy's strength is passing. The other guy's strength is running. I'm going to use these ingredients this way. Oh, I have a 3-headed monster at running back and an ultra smart and accurate quarterback. I'm going to do things this way. Was he the same coach in all 3? Yes. Did he completely adjust to what he had? Absolutely. And why? Because he's the Don. Because he's the man. Because he's Eric Spoelstra, who can change with any damn team you give him. Scrubs, superstars, it doesn't matter what it is. Great coaching adjusts. Mike McDaniel, you are so far away from great coaching, it's ridiculous because you don't adjust. And Vic Fangio, as our friend Jason just pointed out, you didn't take advantage either of what was going on. Anyway. Don't forget, folks, when it comes to Orvieto's awards and more, if your company, like out here at Craig Zinzacker, Pembroke Pines, they give out an award probably to salesman, saleswoman every single month, right? Whoever's number one, that lady gets a plaque or a trophy, or that gentleman gets a plaque or a trophy, right? Or maybe you have got a softball league, or you've got a chess league, or you got a fantasy football league, or maybe employee of the month or anything like that. Orvieto's awards and more, folks. They're in North Miami Beach. Proud sponsor of our program, 1123 Northeast 163rd Street. Laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, glass and crystal etching, custom engraved gift items, corporate recognition awards, plaques, trophies, medallions, ribbons. They do it all. Diplomas, laminations, custom framing, you name it. They do it at Orvieto's Awards and more. Give them a ring and tell them that Big O sent you. 305-949-8098 for Orvieto's Awards and more. Yeah, Jim Crash Jensen, all kinds of shit, dude. That's who Shula was, dude. That's who Shula was. That's what made him great. If one thing didn't work, he tried to find another way to make it work, dude. That's why I love the guy. That's why I love Eric Spoelstra so much. That's why I've always been an enormous Eric Spoelstra supporter, defender, even through shoulder gate, bump gate, whatever the hell that thing was with LeBron. And we had a bunch of idiots that wanted to fire Spo, and I was like, no, hell no, I'm not firing Spo. Same thing. Spo and Shula, for me, are the greatest coaches I've ever seen in South Florida history, dude. And that's a lot saying with Larinaga here and Ron Frazier and some Fern Labate, who did a marvelous job. She never gets enough credit. Danny Price was a hell of a coach for FIU. We've had some great coaches. Coach Crutchfield up in Nova's doing a hell of a job. We've had some great coaches in this town. Shula and Spo, brother, they tower above everybody. They tower even better than Riley. I put Riley third behind those guys. Yes, sir.
Question for you. I know we're talking about Christian Wilkins. With the salary cap being so high, does that change at all anything that you were thinking?
I'm glad you brought that up now. Okay. No, it doesn't change. I still think they let him go. But there's one chance now I think now the tag part, if they don't have the success or they don't think that in free agency or the draft they have an answer at tackle, I can see them because of all the space that's opened up. They could actually tag Wilkins. Hear me out now. And try to negotiate a long-term contract, but oh, well, we couldn't come up with it. You'll have to play on it. And then they keep him around, kind of a dick move for one more year, and he has to play under the tag. That's the one thing that I would give, because they have enough space now that they can even pull that shit off. But again, they have to look at the landscape. If they don't think they're going to be able to replace him with a solid player, someone equal or better or whatever, then I think there's a slim shot that they tag him with a dick move. But they don't give him a new deal. They actually go through the year with the hard cap number. And then just after that, the animosity will be. There was already animosity. Okay? You won't hear that anywhere else. But remember that phone call? Anyway, so there was animosity, and, another tag year, the animosity will build, and it'll be just like a volcano in Iceland. Basically. All right, what else do we have? Big O, because he didn't care, he knew he was going to leave to Philly after the end of the year. Probably. There could be a lot to that, Jamesville. Yeah. Yes, sir?
I think he got a call once Sean Desai got put down.
Yeah.
Because once that, yes, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase because I'm not saying everything Stanford, but
hey, we let go of Desai. Really?
Yep, exactly. That's when I think everything started. The wheels
just
in motion.
letting you know. Have a great day.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all the conversation had to be.
Because that was week 8, so like in the middle of the season.
Right.
And they had Matt Patricia finish the season.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I know. Bird's nest in his face. Fox Sports 640 will be the next to go. Why, Jeremy, what is it with you and burying radio stations? They do it themselves. It's kind of like our dollar. The Federal Reserve does it themselves. They bury our dollar, every president. So don't worry about it. They're doing it to themselves. We don't need to push them along the way. Giving up 56 and 48 points is absolutely disgusting. There's no excuse for it. No, sir. Big O, don't be surprised. Fox Sports might buy out QAM since 640. Nah, they've lost enough money already with stations. I think they don't want to take on any more stations. It's bad. Radio's bad business. People aren't listening to radio anymore. Okay? That's why it's one of the reasons why I left, because I knew this was coming. People just don't listen to commercial breaks anymore. They don't want to listen to radio. Radio's dead. Radio is alive only because they still get to podcast. And if they're smart, they're selling their streams, not the radio signal, because there's really not that many people listening anymore. Fins TD, Big O, X, a post June 1st cut. And what does the cap? Brother, don't worry about what did I tell you last year? Take my advice from last year through this year. There's no cap issues. Don't worry about it. They'll be fine. It'll be super manageable. They're going to be able to do whatever they need to do to improve the team and sign whoever they want to sign and let go whoever they want to let go. We have to stop already. Don't allow them to create the FUD that doesn't exist. FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, by the way, when I say FUD. Yes, sir.
The only thing that the June 1st does is we can't spend that 18.4 until then, but you could probably already have a deal. I'm sure you could have somebody waiting. Yeah, you could have negotiated, just like right now.
Rob Hunt deal later on.
Yeah. Right now, Xavier can go sign with anybody else, but it can't get announced until he's released by the Dolphins. So things can happen during it. Just you can't spend as money.
Connor Williams deal, whatever.
Yeah,
all
do
that
a couple
stuff.
of things.
Yeah. So Today was a day where there was a lot of good news for the Dolphins besides the cap. I love the story of Sean McVay because it is so Mike McDaniel. He needs it badly, right? I love the Justin Herbert story because it really connects with everything that goes on in general for most quarterbacks, not just our guy Tua, not just our guy Marino, but in general overall. There's a lot of stories that I think shed light on what goes on. We talked a little bit about the cap and how it could affect the situation with Wilkins and all that, right? Here's another one that I thought was fantastic for the Miami Dolphins. Drew Rosenhaus. So Drew Rosenhaus was on with Joe this morning, right? And he was talking about, first of all, good news. He was talking about, he said there'll be other teams interested in Van Ginkel. And sure, maybe Fangio wants him. But do you think Van Ginkel really gravitates to Fangio, likes Fangio, really wants to have conversations with Fangio? Does anybody want to have conversations with Fangio? No. Is Fangio going to be in Philadelphia for many years to come? Probably not. So let's really be realistic. Van Ginkel's not going to get stolen by Philadelphia. Okay? And he says there's mutual interest between the Dolphins and Van Ginkel. They've got their home here. This is the team that drafted him. This is the team that believed him. This is the front office that believed in him. More importantly, not Flo, because he didn't use him enough. Okay? And Fangio figured it out finally and used him, and maybe more because of the injuries too. I don't know. But either way, great news in that sense. The mutual interest part, I think Van Ginkel comes back here, no problem. Then the next one, and this is where we hit a home run out of the park. So we can talk about the bullshit first and foremost. Okay, so he talks about the Connor Williams thing because he's the same agent for it. Says, I do think we're going to be very methodical and take a very slow approach to it. It's not now. Here's the thing about taking a slow and methodical approach to all of this. What happens? Do you think people wait till like July to sign players, or do you think they want to know their players already in March and April and then everything, right? When they plans are already done, salaries are signed. So you're going to wait till the NFL and all the other teams have made their decisions? You're going to wait till money dries up because that's part of free agency. You want to like sign early because cap space gets taken up. And then later on, you don't have cap space. So what methodical approach can you take? It sounds really nice. And I get it, dude. Writers aren't going to challenge Drew Rosenhaus in this. They don't need to piss him off because they got to call him for quotes. I don't need to call Drew Rosenhaus for any kind of quote. I don't give a shit. Okay? I don't give a rat's ass. But if you want to wait, Drew, that's fantastic. You play more into the Dolphins' hands because less people will have money. There'll be less opportunities, and that will play right into the Dolphins' hands to sign your client, Connor Williams. So let's, cut through the bullshit. If you want to take a slow and methodical approach, that plays right into the Miami Dolphins' hands. I just want to thank you, my brother, because you gave me some really good news on the Joe Rose show this morning. And I know nobody's going to challenge you on that because, of course, nobody's going to want to piss off their guest, and writers aren't going to challenge him in that because then they can't call him for a quote on anything else because he won't call him back. So that's all right. Me, I don't care if I piss you off. You can kiss my ass. Okay? Same thing that happened with the whole X stuff. After everything that goes on, and I know the agent very well and I like him and everything, but it's not going to stop me from calling it like I see it. They should have traded his ass a few years ago, like I said. Wrong move on the Dolphins' part. Should have dumped his ass a couple years ago and get something. And I told you they would dump his ass now. Okay? And I'm telling you what Drew Rosenhaus says makes 0 sense. So if you want to take a slow and methodical approach, you will play right into the hands of the Miami Dolphins front office. Thank you, sir. Connor Williams, you're more than guaranteed to come back to the Miami Dolphins. And guess what? I welcome you back. It's going to be a lot of fun to have you back. So once you do get healthy, then you'll join the Dolphins. Eichenberg will fill in until then. There you go. Big O, didn't video kill the radio star? It did. QM needs to be sold to Hubbard or they just fold altogether. Yeah. Well, that's a real profitable and positive outfit, that Hubbard. Woo. Next thing you'll tell me they'll sell them to Cumulus. There are some bad radio companies out there, dude. And I've worked for most of them. Beasley is the only company, and I enjoyed my time with Sirius. I would work for Sirius. But Beasley's the one company that I could say, you know, I truly enjoyed it and loved it. But they were more mom and pop when they weren't necessarily big and corporate like they are now, you know. But they were more mom and pop, and it was just absolutely fantastic, man. It was a blessing. Anyway, we thank Manny Navarro. We thank the great Sean Stanley. We thank Larry Schlossberg, who's behind me. Is he behind me? No, I don't see him there. He's not sitting there. But anyway, that's his office right there. Come on out and see the great people out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, baby. Customer appreciation event going on right now. We got a large selection of brand new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come on out to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines, and tell them that Big O sent you. We'll see you on Monday morning, bright and early at 10 a.m. Y'all be good out there. Have a great day and a great weekend, and be safe.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big